Crable's wake-up call, delivered by Coach Cobb. And we'll look ahead to next week as we scout the Wildcats of Northwestern. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Absol Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Sirius Satellite Radio. By the University of Michigan Alumni Association, uniting the leaders and best. www.umalumni.com. By State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. And by Pontiac, official performance machines of Michigan and the NCAA. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, the Wolverines get a 20-6 victory over the Iowa Hawkeyes on Saturday, and it ends a string of tough, hard-nosed football. And that game, Iowa-Michigan, was a tough Big Ten fall football game, wasn't it?
Yep. I don't think it ends a string because there's another one coming.
I know there's another one coming, but we talked about that run of games from Notre Dame to Iowa. That's a pretty tough stretch.
Well, when you look at the way Iowa plays offense, Jim, and of course they run a defense that you don't see much of anymore. Everybody's tight down in there, and it was a physical game. If you like physical football, if you like great defense and special teams, you got what you like.
Yeah, and I think, too, Iowa may have played their best game of the year. I really do.
I do, too, and certainly they gave us all we wanted. They played an outstanding football game, and it was one of those that went right down to the fourth quarter.
Well, they really did. I mean, it was a defensive struggle in the first half. This is Iowa's longest run of the game at 12 yards late in the first quarter.
Well, we were 3 and out our first 2 possessions, and it seemed like Iowa had the ball the whole quarter. Here, the tight end, Chandler, great player, makes a play in man coverage, and they're moving the football, great field position. Here, Tim Jamison makes a great play in containing Tate and forced him back, and we got a sack. Sean Crable coming off the backside. Some way we get him down.
And then again, a fumble caused by Crable. The defense creates the turnover.
Well, we had a stun in there, and Sean came around, and by his quickness was able to penetrate and knock the ball loose. A big, big turnover because it changed field position.
And you finally start moving the ball late in the first half.
Well, it was obvious we're going to have to throw the football, and I thought Chad Henne had another excellent game. Here, Adrian Arrington makes a good catch for a first down.
But they were good at getting to the quarterback.
Well, here's a sack that took us out of field goal range. That was a disappointing play there. They brought the corner and just were able to beat us for the sack.
Well, your defense, though, still comes up big. There's Terrence Taylor stopping the run, which you had to do, and then you constantly got pressure on Drew Tate.
Well, we did a great job stopping the run and forced them to throw the football probably more than they'd like. But here, great pressure. He gets knocked down as he delivers the ball, and we got a lot of guys around the football. Brandon Engelman making a play there, and we're going to get the ball back with good field position.
And you start to move the ball.
Well, good protection here, and Carson Butler, who has really been pressed into playing a full-time role with Mike Massey out, makes a good catch for another first down.
Huge 3rd and 4 play by Henne to the freshman Matthews.
Well, Greg Matthews got to play a lot in this game, and he's gaining experience and confidence and doing an excellent job.
Chad looks around, too. He's getting to his 2nd and 3rd receiver a lot, isn't he?
Well, he's doing a great job, Jim. And he had good protection there. And they played a lot of man with 2 deep zone behind it, and you've got to find the open guy.
And this was one of those plays that was reviewed. You had 2 times where you had the ball in the end zone. Both times they were ruled out of bounds. And this is the replay. They ruled that he didn't have possession with a foot down. And that was real close, I thought.
Well, we had 2 that were real close. And after having a first down and goal at the 5 and having to settle for 3, it was a disappointing drive. But we had 2 great opportunities. We just couldn't get them in bounds.
So at halftime, you've got the 3-0 lead. What was your sense walking up to the locker room? A defensive slugfest?
Well, I was extremely happy with our defensive football team. They were outstanding. Offensively, we had too many penalties. We had a turnover, or we're going to have a turnover, I guess. But we had too many penalties and too many sacks, Jim. We stalled drives, took ourselves out of field position, did not run the football effectively at all in the first half.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at the second half highlights. But first, we hear from Carson Butler, who says, when called upon, you got to get up and respond.
Tyler's out, Mike's out. They're two big parts of the team, man. You just got to step up and move on. And hopefully, you know, when they come back, we just get even better. But I had to step up.
Bourne, like he's a true freshman, came in because Reuben Riley got nicked up, and he came in there, played that right guard spot. You don't want to see offensive linemen get injured, but it's nice to have a kid like that come in and do well.
Well, Jim, that's a great compliment that Adam Krause just paid Justin Bourne. There's a guy that's a senior, that's been around. He knows how hard it is, and we've always felt like Justin was going to play a role this fall, and he stepped up big. And you also got to give great credit to Alex Mitchell,
right,
who moved from
outside.
guard out to tackle, and that's a different deal out there, as you know. So those two guys really, we were awful proud of them.
You got a 3-0 lead. You go to the third quarter. You get terrible field position to start. And you start moving your way out of it, but then again, penalties cause a problem, and this is where you turn it over.
Well, we got 3rd down and 20 here, and probably trying to make a play there, and they get the big turnover, great field position.
But this coming up, huge 3rd and 1 play.
Well, it's a great play, and you got to give. You see Sean Crable dropping off into the flat, took the tight end, maybe the fullback, but yeah, our defense was ready there because it was a great call, in my opinion, by Iowa. The 3rd and short, and they were trying to maybe get the ball over our head, thinking everybody would be coming up to play the run.
The chess game that the coordinators play. Ron English got the job done. And then maybe the biggest play of the game, you're tied up, Breston, on the following kick return.
Well, I think it is, and I think this was our best special teams effort of the year if you take everything into consideration. Garrett Rivas had a great day, but that kickoff return, look at the field position, just when we needed it.
And in this drive to get back into the lead, 2 big 3rd down conversions. That one to Breston, and here's one to Arrington.
Well, Steve Breston, Jim, did not practice Tuesday and Wednesday. He was banged up from the Penn State game. Goes in there, makes a lot of catches, and especially that 3rd down play. And here, finally, we get the cutback play. Mike finds a hole and gets us into the end zone.
It looked like Mike adjusted a little bit in the second half. That cutback was a little further back than you were in the first half.
Well, and I think we started to do a better job blocking the backside cutoff. And here we get great coverage on our kickoff, and Iowa begins to move. They hit a big play there for a 1st down and come back in the biggest play of the drive here and hit the tight end down the middle. We should have had somebody underneath him there. But here a big 4th down, 3rd down play. Great pressure by Lamar Woodley.
Yeah, forces them to throw early, and the route doesn't really have a time to complete. So you force them to kick, and they make it, but you maintain the lead at 10-6. That's huge.
Well, it's a great job of our defense keeping them out of the end zone. Anytime you get down there and you got to settle for 3, in a game like this, it's a big play.
Your next possession, you start to run the ball.
Well, from here on, we did have success, and I think you got to credit those guys up front, and of course Mike Hart can find a hole. And here Chad makes a great throw for a big 1st down to Adrian Arrington.
Then you drive stalls, but like you said, Garrett Reeves, the 4th quarter, having a great year.
Well,
knocks
Jim,
this one through.
And he's been doing a great job with kickoffs, so he's having a bang-up year.
13-6 at this point. Iowa gets the ball back, and the defense steps up.
Well, we get great pressure here, knock the ball loose, and for the 2nd week in a row, we've knocked it loose, and they have been able to maintain possession.
Then you get great field position after a punt, and you really do what you need to do, and that's close the game out, really.
Well, here's Breston again making a good catch, and Chad throwing the ball outside the defense. A great cut there And Obi Alibo had a great block on the backside. He got the backside cut off from the front side, a gaping hole after Mike made a great cut on a guy that was penetrated into the backfield.
That makes it a 20-6 football game, and this is Iowa's last gasp. Now, the defense still playing hard. There's a run that gets no yards, but they're able to get the ball. But here comes Woodley again.
Well, we get great pressure from Tim Jamison off the backside, forces the quarterback to step up, and Lamar gets him for a sack. And then on fourth down here, great penetration up the middle. I think Allen Branch, and we seal the game.
Down 2 scores, they had to go for it, and that was the fourth down play, and that was pretty much it. 20-6 the win, and that was a tough football game, wasn't it? Physical.
Oh.
I mean.
Well, you know, Iowa came in here after a very disappointing loss a week ago, and if you looked at them on film, you'd think, you know, they didn't play very well. They got a lot of injuries, but they came to play, and a lot of those guys showed up today and played hard. It was a typical Iowa-Michigan Big Ten football game.
And go back and talk a little bit, because you, after the game in the press conference and throughout, we're talking about the special teams. You wanted to really make a point that you felt your special teams stepped up and made big plays today. Not just the Steve Breaston play, but in coverage and in getting points on the board.
Jim, one of the reasons we won this football game is because we had great field position almost the entire game. And Iowa did a good job against us defensively, but because we had good field position, and a lot of it was set up by the kicking game. Zoltan Mesko knocked them down in there deep in the first quarter, and had a great punt in the second half. We had great kickoff coverage, and of course we had the big kickoff return that came out and gave us great field position.
That's the hidden part of the game.
Absolutely.
That you don't realize is important until it comes up and helps you, and it did against the Iowa Hawkeyes on Saturday. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll get up close and personal with Sean Crable, but first we hear from Lamar Woodley, who says Iowa's Drew Tate was a real tough customer.
Yeah, he made it real tough coming out early. I think we did a good job putting pressure on him early and hitting him. You know, we kind of wore him down early. You know, I seen him getting up slow a few times, and that's what you want to see, you know, when you're on the defense.